Hello and hi there guys, this is Sonamar and welcome to Stein Codes. In this drill, we'll be breaking down a glitch or chromatic aberration effect inside of Godot. As you can see from the project, I've added the displace and chromatic aberration effect and also added the line effect that you might want to add to your project so as to give them the retro glitch feel. So let's create a new scene, add control node, name it base, add sprite and drag your image into it and drag it to the center of the screen. Now add a color rect, rename it displace, and I'm gonna just lock everything, but before I'm just gonna make everything full rect and lock them. Now I'm just gonna go to the material of displace, add a new shader material, add a new shader, give it the shader type, shader type of canvas item, render mode, unshaded, and I'm going to be using the fragment function. So now let's quickly create a few uniforms that we'll be needing. I'm going to need a sampler 2D. This is going to be the image that we'll be using to create the displacement effect. And I'm going to create the uniform float. This will be the displace amount. Give it a range from 0 to 0.1 and paste it and create the aberration amount. And now let's just quickly use it. Let's create a vec4, give it, call it disp, create the texture, use the texture function, use the displace sample and use the screen UV, get the displacement at that specific position. Now let's create another vec. This time just create a vec2. Let's call it new UV and set it equal to screen UV into disp into disp.xy into disp amount, and let's set up the color equal to text color equal to texture, green texture, comma let's use the new UV, and we are done. So this is a quick setup. Let's add the displacement image. I'm going to be using this test.jpg. Add some displacement amount, and this should be working. Yeah, it is. So there seems to be some kind of a problem. Let's see. Oh, we have to use the add operation rather than the multiply operation. And now we just need to decrease the displacement amount. As you can see, we need to change the image size or displacement size. And I'm just gonna Oh, sorry, I'm just gonna 0.1 to 2.0 probably, and I'm just gonna multiply the screen UV in the disp function or the disp variable with the disp size. Let's go back to material and let's just change the disp size as per our needs. So you can just change it to animate the effect, or probably just change the effect to your liking. Now we need to set up the aberration. So let's just say this was the displace effect. Now time for the aberration effect. Aberration. So to add chromatic aberration, all that we need to do is separate out the functions or the channels. I'm going to be using the R channel. I'm just gonna copy and paste it, all three of them, R, G, and B. And I'm just gonna similarly set up R, G, and B, and you can do the same for the alpha channel. So that's how you set up the alpha channel and all the channels. Let's just quickly find a way to add the aberration. Add the aberration, you can just simply add the aberration amount to add or subtract the aberration amount as per your liking. And this should, and let's just save the scene. This should now be working. Let's increase the aberration amount, and yes, here it is. You can separate all the channels completely. Okay, so I like to keep it a little low, but we can increase it to as big a value as we like. You can even give it aberration amount X and Y values. Let me just quickly add aberration amount X and aberration amount Y. Sorry. And now we can use our vec2 function with aberration amount X, aberration amount Y, and we can similarly use this, and let's just give some aberration amount in X and a little in Y, and this will help us modify our aberration effect to our needs. I'm just gonna give it a little aberration in both the axes, or I'm just gonna give the Y a little more aberration, just so as to make it a little more noticeable. And you have your displace and aberration effects done. And now to add the line effect. So in Godot, if you want to overlay different shader effects on top of each other, then you must use the back buffer function, or else they won't work properly. So I'm just gonna add back buffer copy, and I'm gonna set it to viewport and make sure it's larger than the size of the whole viewport. Although this is not necessary, but I like to just set it up larger than the size of viewport so that it makes most sense. Let's just quickly add a new, or I'm just going to duplicate this one and add it as a child of the back buffer copy. Let's just go to the material. Just go to the material and make it unique inside of the displace too. Let me just rename it to lines and make it unique, and get a shader, make unique, and now we can edit it to a hearts content. I'm just gonna go and give it screen value and brightness value, and I'm just gonna set up the color equal to texture, screen texture, comma, screen UV. Screen UV returns the UV coordinates from the screen, so it helps us map to the screen. And now let's just quickly add lines to it, or let's just say color plus, I'm just going to be using color XYZ or RGB, you can say, because I don't want to affect the alpha value. And I'm going to add texture, screen, comma, screen UV dot X RGB into brightness, and that should be it. Now let's just quickly add the screens and increase the brightness, and we will also need to change the size, so let me just create a variable for that. Size int range 0.1 to 2.0. I'm just gonna multiply it with the screen texture, and let's just save the scene, go back to the variable, increase the size to an appreciable value. I'm just gonna make it a little greater than 2, or something more in the range of something closer to the value of 2, and we are done. So let's just play it, and you can see that we have a effect. So now if you want to change the effect so that this glitch is also affected a little more, then we can just go to the displace function, go to the shader, and add another uniform, float max alpha, and I'm gonna set it int range 0.9 to 1.0, and that's it. And I'm just going to use this max alpha value and multiply it with the alpha value, and let's just go back and can increase the alpha value something. Oh, okay, let me just make it equal to 0.1 to 1, and let's just quickly drag it down. Now you can just play with the values and see, find the point, and this will make effect darker, or it will just change the alpha value of your effect, so keep that in mind. So that's it for now, and we have finally created. And yes, I also want to show you guys a special trait of this effect, that if you were to add something else, and okay, let me just block this back before copy, and if you were to add something and it is below the displace layer, then it will not have that displace whereas if you have it above the lines layer, then it will not have the lines, and so on and so forth. So it's pretty slick that how easily you can just have only parts of your scene have the displace effect, parts of it that don't have it, and all that stuff. Bye for now, and see you later. And if you want to help me, like and subscribe the video.